You just did.
Let me hear you.
So that's all you got to tell me.
Come on, what you got?
Them bars coming out to the bar.
You ain't get no $20.
Yo, what's up, fam? We're the Callaways.
I'm Pam.
And I'm Derek. And this is
Beating Heart. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Beating Heart. On today's episode, we want to bring this love language to an end.
It's been a while.
Not to a complete end, not an end for you guys, but an end for the episode. So today, on today's episode, we want to talk about how to speak to your spouse's love language. We want to talk about how to communicate, actions to take, things to avoid. So we're not gonna waste any time today. We've been missing you guys, so I know y'all have been excited to see another video. So we're gonna jump on into the episode. Let's go.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so without further ado, let's hop into love language number 1, which is words of affirmation. I think words of affirmation, when you're dealing with the person whose love language is words of affirmation, it's important that you use your words to encourage them, right? Don't use your words to do things like tear them down or to undermine them, because they take things like this to heart. You might be able to speak and just throw words around when you're dealing with someone else, or with jokes with your friends or your families, your sisters, your brothers, or whatever. But if your spouse's love language is words of affirmation, you have to actually be mindful of what you're saying to them, especially in times of heated arguments where words can just fly out of our mouth, because these things are taken to heart and they'll begin to see things through the lens of your words. So make sure when you're dealing with someone whose love language is words of affirmation, that you're using your words to affirm and to encourage, right? For me, one thing my wife does that I love, because words of affirmation is my second love language, is that she sends me texts throughout the day. She sends me texts in the morning that begin my day just to remind me of who I am, how God sees me, and all that God has placed on the inside of me. And when I read those texts, it brightens my day up, right? Sometimes I read them and I don't even know how to respond back to them, because they do so much for me, and sometimes I'm at a loss of words. So man, always keep that in the forefront of your mind. If your spouse's love language is words of affirmation, make sure you're using your words to build them up and not tear them down.
Okay, so let's talk about love language number 2, which is physical touch. Physical touch, he's touching me right now, because physical touch is one of my love languages. I love to be touched. And so if you're dealing with a person who love language physical touch, it's basically using body language to emphasize love. So things that you want to do, you want to give hugs, you want to kiss, you want to hold hands, you just want to have that person just wants to be touched. So like for me, because this is my love language, one of the things most of the times that me and my husband do is we hug. We'll hug for about 15 seconds, and it does something to me. It makes me feel love. It calms me, and I just enjoy doing it. So, but however, if you're dealing with a person whose love language is physical touch, things that you want to avoid is you want to avoid going long periods of time without touching them. You want to avoid not being affectionate, because for a person with physical touch, affection is like the number one thing for them. Affection and intimacy. So you want to try intimacy doesn't just mean that, it's a part of it, but you want to make sure that you are not neglecting giving kisses, giving hugs, holding hands, because this will make that person feel rejected. It will make them feel loved. So make sure that you're doing all these things so that your spouse or yourself can feel love.
Right. And when you're dealing with that person whose love language is physical touch, like she was saying, it's not always about smashing, right? So don't always try to manipulate the situation through physical touch, because guys, I know sometimes, and you might have some women like that, I'm not sure, and we'll always think that the physical touch has to lead, right, to to sexual encounters. And you know, sometimes you might throw off your wife's whole mood because you trying to get something, and she just wants you to show her that you love her, because this is the love language, right? So don't always think, men, that physical touch has to lead to sex. Sometimes you can grab a butt cheek, but you can't get you none at that moment, right? All you getting is the butt cheek. So you got to be satisfied with the butt cheek until you can get, you know. But moving on to love language number 3, which is receiving of gifts. If your spouse's love language is receiving of gifts, man, keep in mind that this is not the person to avoid. Like, don't say, oh man, you meet a woman, be like, she say, oh, my love language is receiving of gifts. You be like, oh no, I gotta avoid her. She trying to break me. She ain't nothing but a gold digger. Or vice versa. Oh, his love language is receiving a gift. He broke. He ain't got no job. He want me to buy. No, it's not that. Because when you're dealing with a person whose love language is receiving of gifts, it's not about how much the gift costs. Yeah. Right? It's just the gift itself. The gift says to them, hey, I'm thinking of you. You were on my mind. You're important to me. I value you. And I want to show you that I was thinking of you. I want to show you that I value you. I want to show you that you are important, right? So be mindful and listen when you're dealing with this person about little things that they may mention, because sometimes it may be in buying, jewelry. It may be in, buying a purse or shoes or a video game or whatever, this person's desires. But when you show up with that thing, it tells them, hey, he hears me, hey, she hears me. And it speaks volumes to them. Something that you want to avoid is missing special occasions where gifts are normally exchanged, right? So you definitely don't want to forget their birthday. If you forget their birthday, you need to be slapped, right? You don't want to forget your anniversary. That's another slappable offense. So things like this, Valentine's Day, Christmas, I don't care if they say, babe, you ain't got to get me nothing. Still get them something. Amen, right? Because you don't want your wife or you don't want your husband to be in a group where everybody, because they're going to take it to social media. Everybody going to show what they got, how they got this one. And not saying that you in competition, but you don't want to have your spouse in a situation where all her friends got gifts from their husband and you the fool ain't get your wife nothing because you said, oh, babe, you ain't got to get me nothing. I don't care when my wife tell me I ain't got to get her nothing. I'm still loading her up, right? So make sure that these things are on the forefront of your mind when you're dealing with a person whose love language is receiving of gifts. Okay, and also since we're talking about receiving gifts, now receiving gifts, that's not my love language. I mean, you can give me something and I'll like it, I enjoy it, but I don't want it. But one thing you have to remember when giving gifts, make sure that you are paying attention to what your spouse is saying that they want or that they need, because sometimes you can get a gift and it's not something that they desire, and they'll kind of reject it. They'll take it, but they'll reject it, but they won't feel much love from it because it's something that they really want. Like, just say, for one instance, I wanted this little Grumman pouch, remember? Okay, so I wanted it for a period of time only because we was going on vacation. Well, however, my husband came and he bought the very thing that I said I wanted for just a vacation, not for a long period of time. And when he bought me that gift, however, whenever I opened it, I wasn't excited about it. I was like, this ain't what I want. He was like, well, I thought this was. But make sure that you pay attention. Brought that mug back. I use it now, but I only use it when we go on vacations. But so make sure that you're paying attention to the person you're dealing with that love language of receiving gifts, because you want to give gifts that they enjoy, that they love, and things that they can hold on to. So
let's go ahead and jump into the fourth love language, which is quality time. Now this one, you guys, this is my favorite, quality time. And basically quality time is simple, just one-on-one time, uninterrupted, no distractions, just me, you, me, you, me, and you. No, quality time is just spending that one-on-one time with your spouse. And this is very vital in a relationship. If I had to say, I would say quality time should be everyone's love language, but however, it's not. But it's very vital because this is the time where you and your spouse connect. This is the place where you get to know each other. This is the place, you know, where you can talk about goals, talk about each other's day. It's so much that you can do in quality time. Now, if you're dealing with a person who love language is quality time, you got to make sure that you're spending time with them. Something simple. It can be a walk in the park. It can be cooking. It can be just sitting on the couch watching TV. Or like I say, just having a conversation. All that person wants is that one-on-one time. So, if you're dealing with a person whose love language is quality time, these are the things that I want you to avoid. I want you to avoid talking on your phone, not giving them your full attention, because whenever you're dealing with a person with quality time, it doesn't matter if y'all in the same room together. If they don't have your full focus, it's just like y'all not spending time together. I know most of the men, I'm gonna say most of the men, because women, we say this a lot. You're not spending time with us. You're not spending time with us. And they like, look, we just spent time 10 minutes ago. But yeah, you spent time with her 10 minutes ago, but you was also on Facebook and you was also on Instagram. So if you're dealing with a person with who love language quality time, make sure that you're giving them that time, but make sure you're also giving them your attention.
Right. And I want to add to that as well is there should never be your spouse should never feel like they have to fight for your attention. Right? When you're dealing with someone whose love language is quality time, remove all competition out of the way. Remove it for them so that they don't feel like they have to battle you playing the game, that they don't have to battle you on the phone with your girls. They don't have to battle your spouse does not want to feel like they have to fight for your attention. Because if you love them, their thought is this, that you'll give me the attention, right? So even for myself, I know that with my wife's quality time being my wife's love language being quality time, I know how important it is to her. So what I do is, a lot of the time, things that I love to do or things that I like to do, I do those things in my spare time, the time that we're not together. Well, if she's at work, then guess what? If I want to read a book, then I'm going to read that book. If I want to be in my office studying, if I want to watch videos or whatever it is that I want to do those things, if I want to go to the gym, I do that when she's at work, when she's busy taking care of some type of thing she has to do. But when she reaches the house, I bring all those things to a close so that when she gets off, my attention belongs to her and she doesn't feel like she has to fight for it. So with that being said, we're going to go into the fifth and final love language, which is my love language, which is acts of service, right? Woo. So when you're dealing with someone whose love language is acts of service, understand this, that we're not looking for a maid, right?
I'm not in a maid.
Right, and so if you're a woman and your love language is acts of service, husband, she's not looking for a butler. All we want is you to volunteer help, assistance. We want to hear things like, how can I help you? How can I lighten the load? What can I do? Do you need me to this? And those things for us show that, one, you see us, you see what we're doing, and you value us to the point to where you're like, hey, how can I help them by lightening their load? And so one thing you want to avoid when dealing with someone whose love language is acts of service is laziness, right? You can't be so caught up into yourself and your own time and wanting to do what you want to do that whenever they need you, you're not available. And that's not just That's not just being available physically, but that's also not being available mentally. That's not being available emotionally, or to whatever capacity they need you to be available to assist them. So sometimes for me, acts of service is listening, right? It can be me having to deal with something, and I just need your undivided attention to listen. All right, I'm going to give you an ear. So all of these things speak volume when you're dealing with a person whose love language is acts of service. How can I help? What can I do to lighten the load, to make things easier for you? Whenever I'm doing like any type of little project around the house or something like that, and if my wife is like, hey, I could do something to help you, or so what I can do for this, sometimes I'm like, no, I got it.
He don't like no help.
Right? Sometimes I'm like, I got it. But it's the fact that she wants to help and that she's offering the help that makes me feel like, you know what? She appreciates me, she values me, she loves me because she wants to be a part of my world and what I'm doing. So that's important when you're dealing with someone whose love language is acts of service. Also, if your spouse love language is acts of service and y'all both laying in the bed and he wants some cereal, fix that man some cereal. If she
Oh, sometimes we be tired.
She be tired, boss. But that's my love language, acts of service. So we hope that this video has blessed you in some way, in some capacity, as we have shared with you the 5 love languages from Gary Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages, and that you're able to pull something that will help you in your marriage to kind of add flavor, add spice, or to even re-spark or rekindle any flame that might need to be rekindled, helping you give better insight on how to love your spouse. And this goes, like we say, beyond just the marriage relationship or the covenant of marriage. It also goes into the relationship with your kids, with your friends, in your workplace, and how you deal with people in general. Everyone does not want to be loved the way that you want to be loved. So it's important that you know the diversities of love languages.
And so guys, don't forget to like, share, and hit the notification bell.
Boom! I'm hitting the bell today. I know y'all wasn't expecting that.
Hit that notification. He just messed my train of thought up. But make sure you hit that notification bell so you can be notified when we are on. It is a pleasure to come and spend time with you guys, and we're looking forward to the next episode. I'm thinking we're gonna have something nice for them. But anyway, if it's something that you guys want to see us do, something that you want us to talk about it, leave the comments in the comments
section down below.
Yes, section.
And don't forget to follow us on the gram, BeatingHeart Marriage Ministry. On there we post content as well to help, just tips and things like that to actually help with your marriage as well. And you'll get inside doses of our day-to-day relationship, high marriage, and get to know us a little better in our personality. So go check that out as well. Other than that, man, we pray that you are blessed. We want to let you know that we love you, we appreciate you, and until next time, be blessed.